This video lecture is about the systems of classification. So if you are a microbiology, botany or zoology student, it is very important for you to know about how our classification system has actually evolved over a period of time. So without wasting much time, let's get started. So in ancient times, or we can say that during the time of Aristotle, all the non-moving organisms, for example, trees, grasses, shrubs, they were called as plants, whereas all the moving organisms, for example, elephant, cows, dogs, tiger, etc., they were called as animals. But in 1758, Carolus Linnaeus suggested to divide the living world into two kingdoms, Plantae and Animalia. This system of classification was fine to categorize the higher plants and animals. However, it was quite difficult to categorize the lower organisms according to this system because lower organisms show the characteristics of both plants as well as the animals. Therefore, the major drawback of this system of classification was that lower organisms had to be placed in both the kingdoms. For example, Euglena. It has flagella for locomotion and does not have a cell wall. Both of these features suggest its animal nature, but it contains chlorophyll to perform photosynthesis. Similarly, Chlamydomonas also possess flagella for locomotion and chlorophyll to perform photosynthesis. Slime molds do not possess cell wall during its vegetative phase, but it develops cell wall during its reproductive phase. If we talk about sponges, then they have a branch structure and they are non-motile. But they show holozoic type of nutrition like animals. Bacteria are prokaryotic organisms. Therefore, this system of classification failed to distinguish between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. After this, in 1866, Ernst Haeckel gave a three-kingdom classification. He created a separate kingdom for all the lower organisms. However, this system also failed to distinguish prokaryotes as well as eukaryotes and therefore could not gain much acceptance. Then, later on, in 1937, Chatton gave a two empires and three kingdom classification system. He created two empires called Prokaryota and Eukaryota and further divided them into Monera, Plantae and Animalia. This system separated prokaryotes from eukaryotes but failed to place lower organisms into a particular group. Then, in 1956, Copeland gave four kingdom classification system, and the four kingdoms were Monera, Protista, Plantae, and Animalia. But the drawback of this system was that fungi, which is a non-photosynthetic organism, was placed under the kingdom Plantae. Then, in 1969, Robert H. Whittaker gave the five-kingdom classification system where he placed the fungi into a separate kingdom. But the drawback of this system is that it failed to tell about the phylogenetic relationships among the five kingdoms. Phylogenetic relationships means the evolutionary relationship which tells about the lineage or the ancestry of an organism. Another drawback was that archaebacteria and bacteria were kept together under the kingdom Monera. After that, in 1977, Carl Woese gave two domain and six kingdom classification system. He created two domains called Prokarya and Eukarya and further divided them into Archaebacteria, Eubacteria, Protista, fungi, plantae, and Animalia. But the drawback is that Archaebacteria and Eubacteria were placed close to each other even though they were not close to each other according to the phylogeny. Therefore, later on in 1990, Carl Woese made some corrections in his previous system and gave the three domain classification. It is also called as three domains of life. It is based on 16S rRNA sequencing and protein sequences and is the most accepted classification system till date. So, the three domains according to this system are Eubacteria, Archaea, and Eukarya. This system shows that Archaebacteria is phylogenetically more close to Eubacteria as compared to Eubacteria. Since this system of classification is based upon the molecular data, therefore, this one is the most accurate classification system, we can say. Keep learning and thanks for watching.